in this live stream, I want to talk about Lughnasa or Lugh or Lammas, whatever name we want to give this celebration at this time of the year. Before I go any further, let me just use my magical bell. So that is your signal for hitting that subscribe button if you don't already know. Okay. So in this video, I want to talk about the pagan festival that we're up to now. So it's one of the 4 major Sabbats. So that's 4 out of the... So one of the 4 major ones compared to the... In total, we have 8 Wiccan or witches Sabbats. So that is 4 lesser Sabbats and 4 major Sabbats. So we're now at a major Sabbat, which is Lughnasa, or at least we started with the major Sabbat yesterday, as it was the 1st of August, and now we're on the 2nd of August. But I wanted to stick with the Friday live stream because I've been going every Friday evening or night time. I've been going with these live streams. I didn't want to change it. So that is good. So and the important thing to know about Lughnasa and this Sabbat, and it's not, you don't just have to celebrate it on the one day. Yeah, the 1st of August is the most popular day to celebrate Lughnasa and Lammas, whatever we want to call it. It is the most popular day to celebrate on that day, as that's when it begins. Although it is the Lughnasa tide, so that means that you can celebrate it anytime really within this vicinity. So it couldn't be any time in the week really, but it's usually mostly around the first week in August. So on my birthday is actually in the Lughnasa tide, which is why I always find this harvest, the first harvest, extra special, because of course I love Halloween, but the first harvest is Lughnasa, and my birthday is in the middle of that tide. So my birthday sits in between August the 1st and the day of Lugh, which is on the 5th of August, which is an ancient celebration of the deity Lugh. So that is usually celebrated on the 5th of August. Although when you take a deeper look at what we're celebrating, what the Sabbat actually means. So we're celebrating the harvest, the first harvest, and we're celebrating the sacrifice of the god Lugh, who has sacrificed himself in order to ensure the bounty of our crops, so that we all may survive. He lays down his own life, or the goddess cuts him down, some would say, as well. So this is a popular theme when it comes to pagan mythology, or not even pagan, but hey, well, that's, I'm sure you can see where I was going with that, but also, so a deity is sacrificing himself for the betterment of others. That is a popular theme. So we see that in ancient Egyptian mythology, where Osiris is slain and he is resurrected again. So this is a theory. This is a theme which is prevalent in pagan mythology, no matter which pantheon or mythology or which corner of the world the tradition comes from. There's always those little similar storylines and themes in there. So that is the deity Lugh. So I'm just going to take a quick look at this because I been talking so much, but I've not been following. So yeah, that's good. So I have a bit of information in front of me from this is the Element Encyclopedia of Witchcraft by Judika Ills. So I like these little books. I've got a few of them. I've got the Element Encyclopedia of psychic something or other, and I have the Element Encyclopedia of, I think it's 3,000 spells as well. That one's also by Judika Ills, the same author. So the Psychic Element Encyclopedia, that one's by a different author, Teresa Chung, I believe. But the important thing in here, so I just wanted to mention a few different ways which we could celebrate pagan festival of Lughnasa. And also I'll say a bit more on the deity Lugh, and can also read a little bit of information from the book in front of me. Okay, so it says Lughnasa's there. So yeah, Lughnasa has been Christianized, as are many of the pagan festivals. It was Christianized from Lugh or Lughnasa or Lughnasadh. Instead of that, the Christians styled it Lammas, which is to do with love mass. So it's Lammas is a love mass, as it's all to do, the festival's all to do with the harvest, and the grain is the important factor there. And it's interesting that they also Christianity, they also made that the bread is the body of Christ. So that's interesting. So yeah, you have Lughnasa, or you have the Christian version of Loafmas, or Lammas, as it's pronounced. And that's in Old English. Okay. So it says it was a harvest holiday of the early English church, celebrated on August Eve. So that does often happen. Like you have All Hallows Eve and etc. etc. Lugh is a shining deity. His name literally means bright one, or that is at least one translation of his name. So Lugh is a Celtic deity. He's one of the Tuatha de Dannan. So that those are if you think of like the Greek pantheon, you have like Zeus, Hades, and then you have the older deities who were before them, who were the Titans. So Celtic mythology also has a similar theme. So we have the deities, the Tuatha de Dannan. They're similar to Zeus, Hades, etc., etc. And then there is the rival deities, who are the older deities, who are known as the Fomorians, who the Tuatha de Dannan, that they do battle with them. And one of Lugh's most popular stories is Lugh fighting one of the Fomorians. I'm forgetting his name now. I think it's Balor or something like that. Let's see if I can see it in here. That is crazy. It actually was where I thought it was. There's a verse. Okay, let's have a look. Lulu. Aha, here he is. So bright, one of the skillful hand. He's also known as Lugos in Ireland or Wales. So it says he's a sun god, god of war, many skilled, fair-haired one, white or shining, a hero god. Right, tell me who he does battle with, please. Yeah, it's still not mentioning that. Hmm. That is bizarre. Why is no one mentioning who he does the battle with? That's supposed to be one of his most popular tales. Ah, here it is. Balor. So, yeah, I had it right in the first place. I'm going crazy. So it says, a Fomorian who had a poisonous eye. So it's literally, this is kind of where the tales of the evil eye come from. Like, this deity, he has, and literally, he has the evil eye. So wherever he cast his gaze, he would bring devastation and waste. So this is why Lugh goes to battle with him and he defeats him, thankfully. So it says, one of his eyes became malignant to other beings when he spied on his father's sorcerers as they prepared a magic potion. The smoke from the cauldron contaminated one eye. He was allowed to live only if he kept that eye shut. The farmers used a hook to open his eye during battle in order to kill the enemy. Damn, that's kind of savage. But there you have it. There is so we have Lugh and we have his rival. But light of clearly triumphs over the dark. So Lugh is a warrior deity, and he's famous for wielding a spear. So his Lugh's spear is one of the 4 magical items or treasures of the Celts. So they have like the Stone of Destiny or Sovereignty, I believe it is. There's the Cauldron of Danu. There's the Sword of Dawn, and there is the Spear of Lugh. Sorry. So they're kind of like the holy regalia, I believe they're called. If that's what I'm recalling from memory. Forgive me if I'm misremembering some of that. Okay. So yeah, the important thing to know about this season or this festival is that the farmers are out, they're out harvesting in the crops, getting in the corn and the other I'm forgetting the proper words for things now, and the other agricultural plants. I'm going crazy. So yeah, the farmers are out from the first 2 weeks in August and they collect the first harvest. So this is why the Lughnasa tide is not just stuck on the one day. It is a tide rather than just a day. The festival is celebrated on the 1st of August, although the tide of the Lughnasa tide, it is for a longer period of time. Oh, so that's interesting. So it says Lughnasa Day is an ancient Celtic harvest feast celebrated on August the 1st and for the fortnight preceding and following the date. So that's interesting. I did not know that it is celebrated for the fortnight leading up to the day of August the 1st, as well as the fortnight which follows. It says 4 weeks are dedicated to honouring the Celtic solar deity Lugh, spirit of craftsmanship, light, victory, and war. The last 2 weeks of July and the first 2 weeks of August, which roughly correspond to the dates when the sun is in the astrological sign of Leo, the sign that belongs to the sun and epitomizes its power. And in modern Irish Gaelic, the month of August is also known as Lughnasa. In order for crops to grow, we need sunlight. It also mentions about the corn mother. So that is Another way we could celebrate this festival is by making corn dollies, or even if you're aware of the Wicker Man movie, there's the very famous movie which if you mention pagan to anyone, that's the first thing anyone ever thinks of is the Wicker Man movie, where they build a giant John Barleycorn, the giant Wicker Man, and they put some sort of they put these Christians inside it and sacrifice them for to bring in a good harvest. So obviously pagans do not do that, but that is just a funny movie. Well, I guess it's not funny per se, but it's just a horror or thriller movie. But yeah, it's a good movie, to be fair. I've actually got they made a follow-up to it as well, and I bought that one on DVD as well. I'm forgetting what it's called now. But if you're interested, let me know in the comments and I will reply with the name of the movie. I've got it on my shelf. The sequel to The Wicker Man. Okay. So let's see, what else does it say? So it says Lughnasa is superimposed on an earlier holy day devoted to the Corn Mother and her dying son. Oh. So yeah, that is again referring to how the Mother Goddess has to cut down John Barleycorn. She has to cut down the god and sacrifice him in order for a successful harvest. And she does this knowing that she is giving blessings and bounty to the whole earth. Because without the sacrifice, then the bounty would not be forthcoming. But also, with the sacrifice, there's the popular saying, energy never dies. So, sure, she cuts down the god and the harvest is born. Although we know that it's a cycle, so he will return again. So she does that knowing that he will return again when we come round to you. Okay. So it says here, Lughnasa is a celebration of the harvest, but also a sacrifice of the harvest king. John Barleycorn must die if the people are to live, or as that other proverb goes, you shall reap what was sown. The festival was intended to ensure a plentiful harvest. Okay. And to ward off the evil lord of the blight, who is pretty much what we mentioned, Balor, I believe he. For some reason, that name makes me think of like Lord of the Rings, because I believe one of the dwarven lords is called Balor. No, he's called Balin, or I think he's called Balin. But yeah, for some reason, the Fomorian bad guy, his name reminds me of one of the dwarves out of Lord of the Rings. Oh dear me. Okay, so let's see what else. So like I've mentioned in previous videos of mine, this is a DJ Conway book. So DJ Conway books, she does have some good information in her books, although because they're kind of a bit basic. Although when it comes to stuff like about the mythology, that was useful information. Although when it comes to like practicing, like casting the circle and etc., etc., etc. And initiation, it's like each book, there's like the Norse magic book, the Celtic magic book, and it's like those chapters are literally like casting the circle. They're literally exactly the same, pretty much, but they may insert like a different deity or spirit. But yeah, it's interesting. But the information in the books about the deities and about the festivals is useful. So here it says, so this is a ritual. It says August the 1st, the first full moon of Leo. Oh, that's interesting. Or the first full moon of Leo. Oh, wait a minute. Have we had that yet? No. No, 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 no. Okay, so that's interesting. So Lughnasa, it can be celebrated all the way up until the full moon of Leo, according to DJ Conway. Anyway, I'm not sure. Is the full moon within the 2-week period that has been mentioned? Because I feel like maybe not, because August the 4th is the new moon. So yeah, that's interesting, but I feel like may not be. It may not be very accurate. Oh, ancient gods of the Celts, I do ask your presence here, for this is a time that is not a time, in a place that is not a place, on a day that is not a day, and I await you. So, so yeah, that's just, and then it goes on and then on, and then it says, I know that every seed, every grain is a record of ancient times and a promise to all of what shall be. This bread represents life eternal through the cauldron of the triple goddess. So yeah, it's doing a ritual with bread and wine. So it says, as a grape undergoes change to become wine, so by the sacred cauldron of life shall I undergo change. And as this wine can give man enchantment of the divine or sink into the lower realms. So I do realize that all humans rise or fall according to their strength and will. And it goes on. As in the bread and wine, so it is with me. Within all forms is locked a record of past and a promise of the future. I ask that you lay your blessings upon me, ancient ones, that this season of waning light and increasing darkness may not be heavy. So mote it be. Okay, so that is like an example of a Lammas ritual, which DJ Conway gives us in this Celtic magic book. So that's the Celtic magic book. Okay. Okay, so I feel like, did I read everything here? So we've mentioned about, so let's just do a recap. What have we mentioned so far? So we've mentioned about the deity Lugh. So he is a Celtic sun god, warrior god, and saviour god who is sacrificed. He wields one of the 4 holy regalia of the Celtics, spear, the sacred spear which never misses. So he throws out his shining spear, and he always hits his mark. And like Thor, he can, his spear is magically returned to him as well. So if you've like seen the Marvel movies, Thor chucks out his hammers and clobbers someone with his magical hammer, and it flies back into his hand again. So Lugh's spear is similar to that, because it's a magical weapon which returns to him. Okay, so what else have we got in here? Is there anything? So another thing to bear in mind is that Lugh is also, he does becomes connected or equated with John Barleycorn, so with other similar deities or deities of the harvest or of the pagan traditions. So he becomes equated with John Barleycorn. He's often equated with Apollo, who is the god of light. Some people mistakenly call Apollo a sun god, but Apollo is not a sun god of the Greek mythology. He's the god of light. So sure, he is a god of light, but we have Lugh, who is a sun god, and there is Apollo, who is a god of light. So it's similar, but not exactly the same thing. So in Greek mythology, you would have Helios. Helios is the personification of the sun, whereas Apollo is the god of light. So there is Mercury, who's also equated with Lugh as well. So apparently Lugh, he's a bit of a trickster sometimes. So he's like kind of in his trickster aspect when he is defeating the Fomorian giant Balor, whose name I couldn't remember earlier. So yeah, there's that tale. So what else have we got in here? Oh, that is so weird that it was on about that. I was just thinking, there's the Roman. I went to university in Carlisle, and the Roman name for Carlisle, the place up in the north, very north of England, it's bordering on Scotland, pretty much. That place is, the Roman name for it is Lugus Valium, and that makes sense. So here it says in the book, Carlisle in England, the former Lugu Ballium, it says here. So that's how it's spelled. It may be pronounced as I was pronouncing it, Lugus Valium. Is also named in Lugh's honour. It's been suggested that many European churches dedicated to St. Michael and the Archangel were built over sites once dedicated to Lugh. Oh, that is so out of order. I love Archangel Michael, but why? Why build it over loose sacred sites? Okay, so Lughnasa means the marriage of Lugh. There is a tremendous romantic component to the celebration. Ooh. So Lugh, the sun, and the Earth Mother renew their wedding vows annually during the full moon in August and invite all to gather and revel with them. Oh, that's crazy. I've not actually heard of that part of mythology before in tradition. So it shows you can be on this path for a long time, but there's so much depth to the pagan traditions and folklore and mythology. There's just so much of it. It's I think it's just impossible for everyone to know everything. No matter how long you've been practicing or researching and learning about it, you'll always come across something that you didn't know. Okay. So it's Although the sacred marriage and the corn mother's sacrifice of her son or young lover no doubt precedes Lugh's association with this date, there are also various versions of how Lugh became involved. Lugh ordered a commemorative feast to honour his foster mother, Hail to You. On August 1st, a great festival was held at Telltown on the Boyne River in Ireland. The town allegedly takes its name from Lugh's foster mother, who is buried there. Lugh instituted games in her honour. It also says Lugh has two wives, granddaughters of the King of Britain. When they died, Lugh requests that these women's lives and memories be commemorated every August the 1st. All right, so these are different stories for why we have the feast day. So it says the festival of Lughnasa is not just about Lugh himself. It says that he's put on this celebration so he can celebrate a female, so whether it's his mother or his wives. So he's celebrating the goddess. So it says his wife's names are Naz and Bui. Bui is another name for Kaliak Beharia. See Kaliak Beharia. So it says that's a hag. Kaliak. So Lughnasa is an occasion for blessing and harvesting botanicals for the coming year. In Britain, Lughnasa and similar festivals weren't banished, but they were integrated into Christianity. So yeah, we've mentioned that already. So it says St. Columba, for instance, allowed his monks to maintain their Lughnasa celebration, although he renamed it the Feast of the Ploughman. A deity who identifies himself as a sorcerer is attractive to those who practice witchcraft. Lugh or Lugos seems to have been a very important deity in Europe. Post-Christianity, devotion to him seems to have gone underground. That's funny. That's just reminded me of a bit of. It's reminded me of an episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer where there's this one of the guys in it who is practicing like ceremonial magic or witchcraft, the dark arts, but he's practicing the dark arts. But I'm sure they meant if he taps into or calls upon Lugos, that does sound very familiar. I've not made that connection before, but for some reason now I have. But yeah, that's pop culture for you. They're always making pagan deities into evil bad guys and spirits and badness. But that's just TV for you. Okay. So it says Lughnasa is an occasion for blessing and harvesting botanicals for the coming year. In northern climates, plants and their volatile oils are at the height of their power just before decomposition begins. In Britain, Lughnasa and similar festivals. Yeah, so I already read that part. I'd skipped the rest of it. So it says Lughnasa or Lammas is one of the more obscure witches' holidays. Yeah, that is true because everybody knows about Halloween. That is one of the most hugest holidays. Like, Halloween does rival Christmas, to be fair, for a lot of people. Okay, so let's see what else we have. So, do I have some information on Lammas in here? So these are my books of shadows. You've seen these before in the other videos. If you've seen my other videos. Okay, so all right, so yeah, this is where I've in here I've written down the less popular witches festivals or pagan festivals. So this is where I had it written down about the Day of Lugh. So yeah, Day of Lugh is August the 5th. And interestingly, the festival of Thoth in Egyptian mythology, his festival is what it says. It looks like there's a lot of different dates. It looks like I've not wrote it down very neatly. So I think it says 4th of July. So so yeah, there's a lot of less popular known festivals. So when I say less popular, I mean festivals which are not in the eight witches Sabbat that everyone knows about. So there is Festival of the Forest Spirits, July 19th till 21st. The Day of the Queen of Heaven, that's another one of my favourite lesser known festivals or feast days. That's August 13th till 14th. Feast of the Late Wine, August 19th. Festival of Heroes, August 22nd to 25th. So yeah, so they're just a few of the ones which are nearby to this time of the year. So Gatekeeper's free chant. So this is a witchy chant. It says Bile Lu Mannen, Bile Lu Mannen, open up the gates, land and sea, land, sky and sea. Bile Lu Mannen, Bile Lu Mannen, open up the gates, land, sky and sea. It's interesting. I've written that one in here, but I've not actually used that before. But that's the difference between the Book of Shadows. In the Book of Shadows, I just absorbed lots of just spells and magic from anywhere, any places. If I saw some sort of magic that I thought that I might try one day, I'd write it down in the Book of Shadows. But with the Grimoire, I'm only putting stuff in there which I've tried, tested, or that I know that I definitely it will be using. Okay. Anything else before we move on? So I know I have it in here. There's also a recipe. It's funny. I went straight to the page, I believe. Or it's maybe next to this page if it's not on that page. So another recipe which is useful for this time of the year is Harvest King Protection Powder. So that is making a magical powder out of everyday items which you will most likely have, like using cereals, using like spices. So I'll read you the ingredients. This powder uses the gift of the corn god and the harvest, blended together with one or two staples of protection and of protection magic. It should be made just before Lughnasa, but if it's they suggest just before Lughnasa, but I believe if you want to make it, just make it any time in the Lughnasa tide. It's still going to carry the magic of this festival. So it says use 1 Weetabix, 1 teaspoon of cornflakes, 1 tablespoon of Rice Krispies, 1 tablespoon of black pepper, 1 tablespoon of garlic powder, 2 tablespoons of dried basil. So grind these ingredients all up together, and there you have your Harvest King protection powder. So, so there is a spell to go with it. So stir all the ingredients together, chanting the words "protected be." Oh, so is that it? Is that all? Place the cauldron on the altar. So leave it there for the festival. And then after, you can gather up the ground up Harvest King protection powder, and you can use it in your protection rites. So you could sprinkle that in doorways, windowsills, around your property, in the corners of your rooms, stuff like that. So I did make some of that some years ago, but I've not actually made that in a while. But I can stand by that recipe. I believe I found that one from, oh, what was she called? I can't even remember now. What it was, one of the books that I had. I think it was a witch's almanac. It was one of the witch's almanacs. Cassandra Eason is coming to my mind. I believe it was her, Cassandra Eason. So I think that's where I got that spell from. But I have used that powder, and I really did like using that. So I would recommend using that, the Harvest King protection powder. So basically, for a quick recap with that, you just literally need some cereals, grind that up, add a few protection herbs in there, a bit of garlic powder if you have that, a bit of black pepper. Then there you have it. You've got some protection powder, and you can call upon Lugh or the other kings or gods of the harvest. So I really like that. So there you have it. That's a spell that you can use, or recipe. So what else do I have here? And here I created a god chant. So this is, I have Pan, Merlin, Osiris, Priapus, Lugh, Apollo, Dionysus, Cernunnos. And then that is to be chanted over and over again. Pan, Merlin, Osiris, Priapus, Lugh, Apollo, Dionysus, Cernunnos. Pan, Merlin, Osiris, Priapus, Lugh, Apollo, Dionysus, Cernunnos. Pan, Merlin, Osiris, Priapus, Lugh, Apollo, Dionysus, Cernunnos. Okay. So there's all sorts of different things that we can do at this time of the year. There's all sorts of different magics. So definitely, I believe there's definitely a big focus on harvesting and reaping what you sow. So it's a good time for bringing things into fruition. And that is exactly what a lot of us need. So if we've been going through we've been heading throughout the year, and we've been planting little seeds of magic, of planting goals, of things that we want to attain, then it's good to use the magic of this tide. Or what is the other tide? What is the name of this tide? Are we coming up to recession? I think we're currently in the tide of consolidation. That is the technical term for it in the Wiccan community, the tide of consolidation. So we'll soon be coming out of the tide of consolidation into the tide of recession. So this is a good time for us to bring our goals to fruition. And I certainly will be putting that into practice myself. There's a lot of goals that I've been planning on, as I keep on telling you in my updates. There's lots of stuff that I am working on, and one of actually I won't mention that until after. So there was one of my goals which I strongly am wanting to bring about, but I'm not going to mention it just because of the 4 powers of Magus. So if you're not sure about the 4 powers of Magus, check out my video. I've got a whole video dedicated to that. So it's to know, to will, to dare, and to be silent. 4 powers of Magus, or the witch's pyramid, as it's also known as. So yeah, so for that reason, I'm not going to mention one of my big goals at the moment. But on on Sunday, which is also my birthday, it's the new moon. So on the new moon, I'm going to be using this beautiful August energy from the harvest, from Leo. I'll be tapping into all of this beautiful energy to manifest my goals and bring them to fruition. And I suggest you do the same. Write down your goals, make lists of things you want to bring to fruition. Or if you like to do rituals or like do candle magic, stuff like that, then try that as well. Do whatever works for you. So there we have it. So yeah, I do want to do another smaller live stream on Sunday, which is my birthday. I want to do a video on birthday magic and just share a bit of my birthday magic with you all. So that's Sunday. So yes, was there anything else regarding Lughnasa? I think we might have got it all. Okay, so let me just read this. Lammas is considered amongst the 8 major Sabbats of the Wiccan wheel of the year. However, the roots of this holiday are so agricultural and rural, they often stymies modern neo-pagans frequently, no less urban than anyone else in the 21st century. Modern Lammas festivals often focus on the romantic aspects of the feast. It's a wonderful night for love magic as well as for enjoying the first fruits of the harvest, including grain and wine. Well, there you have it. There's the there you have it. The orders of Lugh. Celebrate the Lughnasa tide by making love and drinking wine. There you have it. That is funny, but it's very pagan, so why not? So yeah, I believe I'm gonna leave that there. I believe there was a lot of information in there. Sorry, it was a bit all over the place. I'm still getting the hang of these live stream videos. So I did want to drag out the mythic oracle. So just before I do shoot off, I'm gonna draw some cards from the mythic oracle to see what energies are around us right now. This should be interesting to see if any of the deities who are in alignment with Lugh pop up. But we shall soon see. Okay. So call upon spirit, please bring through some information for us on this tide of Lughnasa, tide of consolidation. What energies are around us all right now? What do we need to know? What messages are important? Please come through. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Odysseus. Huh. So it says the message of Odysseus is the journey. So it's interesting. So Odysseus, he is one of the Greek heroes who went on the big, massive, epic journey. So we have the Odyssey. This is where the Greek Odyssey comes from. So it's named after this hero Odysseus because he went on a big epic journey. So I wonder how that ties in. And there is fire, which is interesting. So that the fire in the background of this picture, there's a very strong looking horse and there is fire in the background. So that's giving me some Lugh war vibes right there. So if you can see, there is fire in the background, and that's definitely bringing in the Lugh energy. Lugh is a very fiery and bright deity. His name literally means bright one, or at least that's one of the translations of his name. So I'm gonna see what the book says about this because it's kind of stumping me. I feel like the fire is definitely standing out, so I feel like it definitely is a correct card, but I feel like there's a hidden message in here for us. So let's find out what it is. I don't think I've never actually, of all of the times I've read these cards, I've never pulled out this card before. So I feel like that's why it's kind of stumping me a bit. So so 43, the journey. So it says Odysseus is a hero of great wit and intelligence. It was his idea to give a large wooden horse to the Trojans as a gift that carried within it the Greek soldiers that were able to bring down and defeat Troy. Ah, so it was Odysseus's idea, you tricky little shit. All right, so let's get to the message. So it says, if you've been working toward achieving a considerable goal, wow. So So if you've been planting seeds earlier on in the year, as I was mentioning earlier, so that is interesting. This card shows you that you can do it. It is certain that there will be many challenges along your way as distractions, temptations, and battles are inevitable in every hero's quest, but only those willing to face the dragons and defeat the monsters will experience victory. Those that don't get distracted or give up when the journey gets too rough, those that face every challenge head on, will assuredly reach their goal. Decide today to be that person. Have heart and courage. Be heroic. So it says Odysseus fought a 10-year battle at Troy and took 14 years to fight his way back home, but eventually accomplished the seemingly impossible. Yet it was never the accomplished task that made Odysseus great, it was his journey that did. This card signals victory. Stay true to your heart and vision now, for you have the power to create and achieve great things. Embrace your journey, both the challenges and joys of it. Stay true to your heart's desires. I can't talk properly. Magnificent things are possible now. So yeah, I feel like there's definitely lots of Lugh energy and Lughnasa energies in that card. I like that message. Okay, I'll pull another, even though I think that card was definitely spot on. Okay, what other messages can follow that? Okay, okay. Rare protection. Oh, so we was just talking about making Harvest King protection powder. And also with the energies of, I think that's quite interesting actually, because there's the emphasis with protection, and Lugh is a deity a warrior deity who protects, goes out into battle, he defeats the evil giant who's his rival, Balor. And it's interesting also, as Rhea is a Titan mother goddess. So it was also, as we was reading about the festival of Lughnasa, it was mentioning how Lugh created this festival so he could celebrate the women in his life, such as his mother or his wives. So that is interesting. So let's read some more into that, see what else it's going to say about Rhea. So I'll show you the card. I'm not sure if I did that. Okay. So she's number 2. Okay, so I won't go too much into the myth, but Rhea is, in Greek mythology, Rhea is the Titan goddess who Cronus was her husband. So Cronus is like a very wicked deity who was the ruler of the gods at the time. So they've had children, and Cronus has ate all of his children except for one, Zeus. So Rhea kept Zeus safe, and then Zeus grows up and overthrows his father. So it says, Rhea represents the protective aspect of the mother, unable to continue to feed her young to Cronus. She made a dangerous stand against him. She represents the part of ourselves that can not bear to deny our natural instincts and propels us to do what we know is right for ourselves and things and people we love. We take a stand against the social and external societal rule and follow the inner rule instead. So it's interesting because also the Celtics, they had very fierce warrior women as well. So I feel like that is an important message as well. So no matter what your gender is, you can be fierce and you can be protective and you can mean business. So it says this protection in its highest form, it is love and protection of what is truly sacred in ourselves and in our lives. This is a time for trusting your instincts and intuition. Definitely. That's what I'm always preaching to you all. You may be feeling torn between your duty to the world and your duty to yourself, but your duty to yourself must always come first, as it is your first priority to protect the sacred life that has been entrusted to you. You must be carer and protector of your body, mind, heart, and spirit. And only when you've done this can you truly be carer and protector of the things outside of you. Whether it be your work, your art, your home, children, or loved ones, this is a time for drawing the lines, creating clear and healthy boundaries, and honouring your integrity. Trust yourself and create your life from a place of true honesty and self-love. For if every action you take is rooted in your personal truth, then all that you grow will be golden. Wow. Wow, I'm blown away with that line there. I feel like that is the important message here. So let us read that again, because I feel like that is its like main message here, which is just whacking us in the face with this. That was very beautiful and powerful. So it says, trust yourself and create your life from a place of true honesty and self-love. For if every action you take is rooted in your personal truth, then all that you grow will be golden. So that is the important message here. If every action you take is rooted in your personal truth, then all that you grow will be golden. And that is the beautiful message of this Lughnasa and the first harvest. That is beautiful. Wow. Okay, so I'm going to leave that there. So thank you all for tuning in. Hopefully, I will see you on Sunday for my birthday live stream. I'll just do a short live stream, talk about some birthday magic. And please tune in next Friday as well for the next Friday live stream that I do it every Friday night. And please do check out some of the other videos as well if you're interested in magic and witchcraft. I've got videos about the themes of witchcraft and magic. I have videos about some of the other Sabbats, so do check out some of those as well. So thank you for tuning in, and brightest blessings. Namaste.